Alright, so today I want to show you a really easy way to find some of your local reptile breeders, people that breed and sell reptiles. And there's several advantages of finding someone that's local. Number one, you can network with them. As a matter of fact, I used to know a guy that we used to do a lot of business together. I'd sell him a lot of my excess rats for his ball pythons, and he'd find some really good deals for me. I bought quite a few snakes from him, knowing other people, bringing some of those snakes through him into my collection. It was really neat having someone local that I could network with. And number two, if they're actually breeding snakes, a lot of times you can pick them up without the shipping costs, sometimes at a significant discount if you're buying from someone that you know really well. And I'd say, as far as trying to locate a lot of these people, I'd say most people, they go to reptile shows or they go to some of their local reptile stores. But let me tell you, there is a lot easier way to locate probably thousands of people that breed and sell reptiles, and a lot of them are close to you, and I'm going to show you really simple how to locate a lot of these breeders. Alright, so I'm going to jump over here on morphmarket.com, and you've probably been over here on Morph Market looking for and shopping for some reptiles. It's a pretty amazing place, especially for ball pythons. There's been over 100,000 ball pythons for sale over here on Morph Market. It's pretty much the #1 place that I've seen that actually you can list your reptiles or you can buy reptiles. And if you come over here to the home page, I'm guessing you probably haven't seen a lot of this stuff. These are like some hidden features over here on Morph Market that I want to show you real quick. I kind of stumbled into them recently, and it's pretty amazing once you really dig into it. So the home page on Morph Market, it's essentially organized into all these different categories. And when I first started on Morph Market a few years ago, I think there was only like, 5 or 6 categories. I think there's like ball pythons, boa constrictors, and now you can see all these different categories. They keep adding more and more as time goes on. It's pretty awesome. So if you actually come to the very top of the page and you click on stores right here, this is where you want to click, and then this page opens up. This essentially shows you all your different stores. There's a whole bunch of different stores. So essentially, if you create an account on Morph Market and you sell even one ball python or one reptile of any kind, you are considered a store. You're listed in this whole index of all these different stores. You can actually search the different stores, or you can click on this little tab right here that says Morph Map. You click on that and you come over here and take a look at this. This is incredible. This is every single store on Morph Market, and every little tiny little snake here indicates one store, one person selling reptiles over on Morph Market. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing how concentrated they are. I think every single state in the United States has at least one person selling reptiles. And it's kind of color coded here, so the red ones have more than 50 ads, the purple ones have 20 to 49, the blue ones 6 to 19, and the green ones just 1 to 5. And I actually came over here and zoomed in on Colorado. That's where I'm located over here, and it's pretty awesome. You can actually click on the different little snakes over here, and for example, this one is my store right here, Chris Hardwick Reptiles. I actually have quite a few snakes over here on Morph Market. And you can actually click on my name here, and it brings up my my seller profile over on Morph Market. So you can kind of see not only who's around you, but you can actually click on the different links and kind of get an idea of what they do and their store policy and their about page and everything. And for example, I actually have 28 ball pythons and 1 corn snake. You can actually click on the tab on the very bottom and you can see all my snakes for sale over here. And I actually went over here and you can actually zoom in on different parts of the map. And what you can actually do is zoom in and then just click, for example, if you wanted someone that has a big variety of different things, you can actually look at the 20 to 49 animals in the purple. So you can actually click on this one, which is Second City Constrictors. And then there's another one, let's see, down here. That is Wildfire Retics. I just picked a couple, and if you actually click on those links and come over here to Wildfire Retics, take a look at this. They actually have 24 reticulated pythons. So, I specialize mostly in ball pythons. These guys are specializing in retics, And I actually came over here to Second City Constrictors, came down and I was taking a look at what they sell. They actually have 26 boa constrictors. So you see, it's not just ball pythons, it's all reptiles. Some people specialize in different things. And clicking on the map and just kind of looking around, you can see kind of what is around you. So another thing you can actually do, so for example, if you know, I actually clicked on the map and I looked all around me and I saw all these different stores, these different breeders selling different reptiles. And what I want to do is I want to narrow that down to just the people that sell, for example, crested geckos, because I'm in the market for another crested gecko. So essentially what I do is I go back to the home page and then I click on crested geckos, and what that does is it brings up this page. This is the crested gecko index, and then from here, if you actually click on stores, it brings you over to a different kind of a list of all the different stores that specialize just in crested geckos. And then from here you can actually click back on the Morph Map tab right here, and that'll bring you over to a different map. So essentially what it's doing is it's showing you the whole map of the United States, but it's sorted only by people that are selling crested geckos. That is pretty powerful. And I actually zoomed in on Colorado, and sure enough, there was only 3 of them in my area that specialize in crested geckos. And if you click on each one, you can see this one is Posey Cresteds, this one is Colorado Coldbloods, and this one is Cruisers Reptiles. And I actually pulled up all 3 links and kind of looked at their seller profile. And the interesting thing about some of these is, for example, this one has 5 crested geckos and 3 boas over here in Colorado Springs. And this one is Colorado Coldbloods. The interesting thing about this one is they have ball pythons and crested geckos, kind of a mix. And then over here, this one seems like it specializes more in crested geckos. Over in Westminster, Colorado, you actually scroll down, they have 16 crested geckos. So it looks like maybe this one is more of a specialized breeder, just specializing in crested geckos. And the other thing I like to do is I actually came over here and clicked on all of their crested geckos for sale from that one seller, and then you can actually sort on all the ones for sale and all the ones that have sold, and that's what I pulled up over here. So for example, the Posey Crested store, the person that's specializing in the crested geckos, these are all the ones not only that they're selling, but that they've sold on Morph Market. So you can kind of get an idea of the history and some of the stuff that they produced before, which is pretty cool. And I kind of had my eye on I actually sorted by the highest price, and I looked at this one that was the most expensive and pulled it up. It is a really beautiful crested gecko. That one is really awesome. I wouldn't mind adding that one to my collection. Unfortunately, it's actually sold, and it's sold for $555 plus at least $60 shipping. So that was like a $600 crested gecko. Pretty awesome animal. So the other thing, here's another trick, that if you actually don't live in the United States, say you're over in the UK or somewhere else, you can actually do the same thing with Morph Market. There's different regions over here. As a matter of fact, if you come all the way to the top, there's a little pull down menu. And by default, I think it looks at my IP address and it kind of sets it to the United States. But you can actually scroll down and choose Europe over here. And then if you actually click on the stores, it'll bring you over here. These are the European stores. And then if you actually click on Morph Map over here, it gives you a morph map of a different part of the world, not in the United States. And it's pretty amazing. The first thing that kind of struck me is just the density of people, not only in the United States, but all around the world that are actually breeding reptiles. It's pretty amazing how many people are actually into reptiles. I mean, if you scroll in, there's just so many people. It is unbelievable. It's pretty awesome. And you can actually do the same thing over here. This is actually South Africa. So there's different regions. There's 3 different regions. There's Europe, there's the United States, and then there's South Africa. And I was kind of surprised that, you know, I always knew there was people breeding in South Africa, but I didn't know how many. And you put all the little things on the map, the specific stores or the people that are breeding reptiles, and there's quite a few, but not as many as I would have thought over in South Africa. Alright, so it is time for the question of the day. And Cameron Lee Leatherworks asks, how long should I keep my breeder rats going before retiring them? And that is a very good question. Essentially what I found, usually with my rats, I start pairing them up when they're about 250 grams, and the production really starts dropping after about 10 to 12 months. You have a really short window of maximum production, and then the litter sizes really start decreasing significantly. And I've actually kept a lot of my rats together for like 2 years, 2.5 years. As a matter of fact, if you keep them together too long, essentially what's going to happen is the females will just stop producing, and then you'll just have males and females in their old age kind of living out their lives. I actually have some that are almost pets, kind of retired breeders. I keep the males and the females together and they just don't really produce anymore, which is kind of interesting. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of drone footage. It was a really nice day today. Took my drone out and flew it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.